Hello, are you worried about ID cards tracking you? Well mate, your coffee app knows more about you than your mum. Do you think the government is watching you? Well, here is a thought. That QR code just sold your latte habit to 3 ad agencies. You do not want a national ID card, but you will scan a QR code to get 10 bar off bubble tea. Priorities, eh? Do you think national ID cards are scary? Wait until you find out what your gym's QR check-in logs. You are never off the grid. You are just on someone else's spreadsheet. Let us talk about privacy, that sacred cow everyone loves to milk when it suits him or her. I do not want the government tracking me, they cry, while scanning the QR code to buy a caramel latte with goat's milk and a side of surveillance. Yes, Karen, we see you. In Thailand, their national ID card is deemed by some foreigners as if it is a biometric leash from your worst nightmare. Never mind that it has been around for decades, used to vote, register property and heaven forbid access healthcare. No, the real threat is apparently that the government might know your name and birthday. The horror. Meanwhile, these same privacy warriors are gleefully scanning QR codes like lab rats in a dopamine maze. Want to pay for noodles? Scan. Check into the gym? Scan. Redeem 10 bar off your bubble tea? Scan and surrender your soul. Let us be clear, QR codes are convenient. However, they are also the Trojan horse of modern surveillance, a cheerful, bouncy, cartoon-laden gateway to the world where your every move logged, time-stamped and monetized by people you have never met. When you scan a QR code to pay, you are not just transferring money. You are handing over your device ID, your IP address, your location, the time of day, what you bought, how often you buy it. You think the government is watching you? That QR code just sold your latte habit to 3 ad agencies. Moreover, unlike your national ID card, which is governed by actual laws, QR codes data floats around in a legal soup of implied consent, and you clicked agree without reading. Let us talk about that terrifying government ID card. You know, the one that is issued by central authority, protected by national data laws, used for official transactions, not linked to your coffee preferences. Yes, it contains personal information. Nevertheless, it is also regulated, auditable and transparent. If the government misuses your data, there is a paper trail, there are laws, there is recourse. Compare that to your local cafe's QR code hosted on a server in another country, managed by a third-party app that sells your data to advertisers who now know you prefer soy milk on Tuesdays. People are not afraid of being tracked. They are afraid of being tracked by someone they do not trust. In addition, thanks to decades of political cynicism, the government is the default villain. Meanwhile, tech companies, those benevolent overlords of convenience, get a free pass. Never mind them, they track your every move, sell your data, influence your behaviour. QR code systems give users the illusion of control. You choose when to scan, you choose what to buy. However, you do not choose who sees your data, how long it is stored, where it is sent. With a national ID card, you know what it is for. With QR codes, you are playing data roulette every time you tap your screen. Picture this. A man in a tinfoil hat refuses to show his ID at a government office. Moments later, he scans a QR code to pay for coffee, checks into yoga with a QR wristband, and logs into a dating app using a QR login. Of course, he is not being tracked by the government. However, he is being tracked by 6 private companies, 3 advertising networks, and a data broker in Singapore. Nevertheless, at least he did not show his ID. National ID cards, when implemented responsibly, offer secure identity verification, access to public services, protection against fraud, legal accountability. They are not tools of oppression, they are tools of infrastructure. Moreover, unlike QR codes, they do not pretend to be your friend while quietly selling your data to the highest bidder. Therefore, you are not being watched by Big Brother, you are being watched by Big Barista. It is my honest opinion a cashless society could become the greatest Trojan horse of our time, and that government ID would help the country's security and are a lot safer than QR codes or even some passports. Moreover, yes, the forgery argument is often wheeled out like a tired pantomime villain. However, modern ID cards, like Thailand's, are embedded with biometric data, smart chips and encryption, making them far more secure than the average QR code or even a traditional passport. In fact, a robust national ID system could eventually replace passports for regional or even global travel, especially as digital identity frameworks evolve. Please let me know your opinions or perceptions on whether you would like a British national ID, or if you prefer QR codes, or if you believe QR codes are safe, in the comments below. However, I did not mention what information your credit cards, debit cards, department store cards and so on has about you. A lot more than the government has, and that is for sure. Finally, have you ever wondered what information Google, Microsoft, Apple and the Meta Group has about you? Again, I bet it is more than your government has. Thanks for listening, and goodbye.